Can Nico pull the upset and shock Utah week 1? JT Wistrcill of Locked On Utes and Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer of Locked On Bruins are here to discuss that very matter. Zach, I'll start with you. Your confidence level 1 to 10 that UCLA, even though they're at home, can actually win this game against Utah is what?
I think it's closer to a 7. I think UCLA can absolutely beat Utah. It's a pretty even matchup, but I do think they can win this game for sure.
A 7.
Even.
A 7. Even 7.
Do you go even just because both 5 and 7 last year and roster turnover? Is that what you're leaning towards?
I mean, I just think it's a dynamic. It's a week 1 chaos. Mm-hmm. I just think it's just college football week 1 chaos, the unknown, and that UCLA's upgraded in quite a few areas. Obviously, defensively could be a step down, but I do think it'll be an even game. I could be proved very wrong, but I do think week 1 helps UCLA a lot.
Okay, JT, your confidence level that Utah avoids what wouldn't technically be an upset unless you look at the FanDuel odds, which is Utah minus 6.5 on the road. I think they're going to win and cover that particular number. My everydayers out there know I'm not very big on UCLA this year. That could change, but I mean, for next year, not for this particular season. But there is a part of me that kind of needs Utah to win this game. I can't have the Bruins be 1 win closer to 7 wins or more, lest I have to don a Nico jersey for a week on the show. JT, your Utes aren't going to let that happen, are they?
I don't think so. It's always tough to win on college football on the road, right? So for that reason, I'll go a 7 in the confidence, I'll say. But I just feel like Utah returns a lot more continuity than UCLA does. There is just a lot going on for UCLA. I think UCLA could be decent this year. I think this is by far the best time to catch them, especially with Nico not going through spring ball, with this group having to learn a new offense, get the timing down. Offensive line, a lot of new pieces getting in sync. Defense, a lot of new pieces. There's a lot more new for UCLA than there is for Utah. That's why I feel good about Utah being able to cover in this game.
Zach, no spring ball for Nico. How much does that weigh on your mind going into game 1 against a team that should be a Big 12 title contender?
I mean, there's quite a few pieces that came after Nico on the offensive side of the ball in the portal as well during the spring. So there's more than just Nico having to work together. I think Tino can adapt. I think he's got the wherewithal to make it work for week 1. They had a good fall camp. They got away from campus in Costa Mesa in Orange County, which is a lot further from Westwood than people think. I think they'll have it dialed in. And if he plays well, maybe it's not exactly Baker Mayfield for the Rams against the Raiders, but does that mean spring practice is a wash? If he plays well with the new offensive coordinator, I think he should be just fine.
So I want to start with you on this particular question, JT. What does Utah have to do to win this game?
I think they need to control time of possession and just run the ball, because I think if the very first game for Devin Dampier at Utah, even though it's the same offense, right? Offensive coordinator Jason Beck comes with him. I just don't think you want Devin Dampier having to throw the ball 40 times. But even though UCLA expect to pack the box, I still think Utah's going to have success running the ball. All 5 starters back. Arguably the best tackle duo in college football, 2 first-round projected offensive tackles. You get that experience up front. You pair that with a quarterback in Devin Dampier, who led the country in yards per carry at 7.5 yards per carry a season ago. Yes, G5 competition, but he was incredibly elusive. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was sacked less than 6 times last season, and he played some P4 teams. So in those games alone, he should have been sacked that much. But he also, according to Pro Football Focus, was tied for first with John Mateer for the most forced missed tackles amongst quarterbacks. So Devin Dampier, incredibly dynamic with his legs. Wayshawn Parker is a true freshman last year, 700 yards with Washington State. I think he's going to have a big game on the ground. I think if Utah just establishes the run game, and even with a packed box, I just think they're going to be able to overpower UCLA up front, and I think that's how they get a win here, and just keep the time of possession rolling, keep Nico off the field. And when he is on the field, I'm curious to see how that offensive line in week 1 for the Bruins comes together and deals with a lot of crazy stuff that Morgan Scalley, blitz-wise, Utah's DC, is going to be throwing at him.
Zach, UCLA wins this game, and it would certainly be the biggest victory, I think, of the DeShaun Foster era. You'd start the Nico era off with quite a bang and a non-conference win. What happens if they win that game?
What happens is one of 2 things. You have to keep Nico upright. If he's upright, he's got time to throw. He's got a clean pocket. He's going to throw for a lot of yards and get some touchdowns if he's kept upright. And then 2, when Dampier's forced to throw the ball, you have to get a pick. UCLA can't win this game without forcing an interception. Clearly, the UCLA's front 7 is not going to be a match for Utah's, trenches. I think when he throws the ball, whether forced to or decides to make a bad decision, his 12 interceptions last year on 12 touchdown passes is the factor that UCLA's revamped secondary has to take advantage of. If there's no turnovers and Nico's going down to the turf, it could get ugly. But if those two things happen, UCLA could win.
Give me an X factor for both of your teams. JT, you're first.
X factor, I'll go Tobias Merriweather. We mentioned the passing game right there. He's Utah's wide receiver who was at one point at Notre Dame, then Cal, now transferred up to Utah. It's a former 4-star recruit, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's had a very good camp. He was a late addition, so there'll be the interesting thing, kind of similar to what Nico and some of these other pieces are going through, is how quickly can you get him integrated into the offense. But the buzz about him has been real. He's got a chance to be a special wide receiver, and that doesn't happen very much up in Salt Lake City. So if he can have a big game, then Utah could really open this one up and make a statement that is heard as much as a game can be at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night.
Does Utah know what wide receivers are? Not tight ends, just like actual wide receivers.
Hey,
like, are they familiar?
Hey,
are they familiar with the group?
If Dorian Singer can somehow get 700 yards last year with Isaac Wilson, anything's possible.
He had 700 receiving yards last year.
Mm-hmm. He had over 700.
Oh, Zach, you guys are really cooked. I mean, so you're just done. You might as well not even watch the game. Zach, you can just record your reaction show now because we know how it's going to play out. I didn't realize Utah got that many passes to wide receivers last year. Your biggest X factor, Zach, for the Bruins?
I'm going with another receiver, but for UCLA, Quasi Gilmer. Is he the guy that's going to assert himself as to the number one receiver? Nico's got to throw it to somebody, and the word around camp is Quasi and Nico were the special connection making plays all throughout fall camp. Someone's got to be the number one guy. And if Gilmer, who had some flashes as a true freshman, is a guy coming into the sophomore that's been there through spring ball, already developing connection. Let's see if we see that in week one for a couple of touchdown catches.
So are you saying right now he's a quasi number one receiver?
Yeah, absolutely. Go watch his commitment video. It's pretty funny.
Okay. I'm actually going to put that in my show for today. That's going to remain. That will not be edited out. I'm going to leave that out there and realize that you all choose to consume the show, and I thank you very much for doing that. Last but certainly not least in this glorious segment, JT, you're going last. Zach, you get to go first. Game predictions for UCLA in Utah in a Big Ten, Big 12 showdown. RIP Pac-12, sweet prince, but this is what it should. Wait, we're not going down that road. Not going down that road. Zach, your score prediction for Saturday.
Let's go crazy. Let's go UCLA 35, Utah 32. I might look like a fool.
Whoa.
But if it's going to happen, that's how it's going to happen.
35. UCLA, no spring ball for Nico, and he's dropping 35 on Kyle Whittingham and Morgan Scalley. JT, do you hear the guts on that guy over there?
It's a lot considering Utah's defense only allowed 20 points per game a season ago. Yeah, they have a couple questions that they need to fill in there, but look at this Utah defense history year after year and the quality of the transfers that they've brought into with experience that should slide in seamlessly. I don't see Utah giving up over 25 in this game. I think Utah is going to be able to control the ball on offense. I think they're going to throw Nico off his game. I think we're going to leave this game more impressed with Devin Dampier, and all the Tennessee fans that stayed up late to hate watch will be rewarded. I have Utah winning this game 32, UCLA 17.
32-17. I'm glad you had the under. I like the under in this game. FanDuel's got it at 51.5. New quarterbacks, new systems. Week one, no tune-up game against an FCS opponent. Definitely take the under. I like Utah to win. I like Utah to cover. I frankly think that number is a little bit low at 6.5. So I'll take the Utes. You know what? I'll give some mild respect. To UCLA, because I do think Tino Sinceri could be a really good hire. So there's my olive branch to the Bruins. And by the way, just for funsies, because the over-under is 51.5, 31-20. Give me Utah to win the game and pick up a nice non-conference victory for the Big 12. JT Wistrcill, Locked On Utes. Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer, Locked On UCLA. Great as always. Speaking of Big 10 non-conference games against the Big 12, Nebraska's game is sneaky tough this week.